In 1998, Larry Page and Sergey Brin were doctoral students at Stanford who wanted to sell their search algorithm so they could finish their degrees. They approached multiple potential buyers. AltaVista turned down the offer to acquire the company for $1 million. Yahoo similarly rejected it, hoping for users to turn to its own platform for their needs. Fast forward to 2002. Yahoo was a dominant internet player and Google was just an up-and-coming search engine. In 2002, Yahoo's CEO Terry Semel launched an offer to buy Google. Yahoo wanted to buy it for $3 billion, but Google was keen on getting $5 billion. The deal never happened. Google is now worth over $1 trillion. Yahoo was eventually sold to Verizon in 2017 for $448 billion for its core operating business. The same company. Two separate chances to acquire what became one of the most valuable businesses in human history. Two separate decisions to decline. The standard version of this story is a story about missed opportunity, about how Yahoo failed to see what Google was becoming. That framing is not wrong. It is also not the most instructive version, because failed to see attributes the outcome to a vision failure, and the actual mechanism is more specific than that. In the early 2000s, Yahoo saw itself as an internet portal, a gateway to news, finance, email, and entertainment. Search was just another feature, important but not central to its business. Google, on the other hand, understood that search wasn't just a tool, it was the foundation of the digital experience. Whoever controlled search controlled the internet's traffic and, by extension, its advertising revenue. Yahoo didn't fail to see Google. It saw Google accurately, as it was in its current form. What Yahoo missed was the trajectory, the rate at which search would become central rather than peripheral, and the rate at which the company that owned search would come to own the commercial infrastructure of the internet. The offer they turned down was not, in the moment it was declined, obviously the thing it became. And understanding the gap between what it was and what it became is what makes the story more useful than they failed to see it. Yahoo's peak market capitalization in 2000 was approximately $125 billion. Yahoo approached Google with an offer to buy the company, but lowballed at $3 billion when Google was asking $5 billion. The negotiation in 2002 is the most instructive moment in this case, because unlike the 1998 rejection, which was arguably defensible given that Google was an unproven startup, the 2002 negotiation happened after Google had established a search product that Yahoo's own engineers understood was technically superior to Yahoo's. Yahoo CEO Terry Semel must have realized the true potential of Google. Yahoo approached Larry and Sergey to buy Google. Yahoo wanted to buy it for $3 billion, but Google was keen on getting $5 billion. So the deal could never happen. The $2 billion price gap is the specific decision point. Semel was willing to spend $3 billion. Page and Brin wanted $5 billion. The negotiation failed on a $2 billion difference. Google's revenue in the year that followed the failed negotiation exceeded $1 billion just in advertising. The company that Yahoo declined to acquire at $5 billion because the price was too high was generating more than $1 billion in annual revenue within 12 months of the negotiation's failure. The $2 billion that separated the two sides of the negotiation was not the obstacle. The obstacle was a mental model of Google as a search company rather than as the infrastructure layer of internet commerce. At $5 billion, Google was priced at a revenue multiple that was, by the standards of search company valuations in 2002, high. At $5 billion for the company that was going to own internet advertising, it was a fraction of its actual value. The valuation that Yahoo was applying, search company, current metrics, reasonable multiple, was technically competent. It was applied to the wrong mental model of what Google actually was. Have you ever watched a negotiation fail on a number that, in retrospect, was trivial relative to the value being negotiated over? Leave a comment. In 2006, Yahoo attempted to acquire Facebook for $1 billion. Mark Zuckerberg turned down the offer. Rumor has it that if Yahoo had increased its bid to $1.1 billion, the board would have put pressure on Zuckerberg to sell. In 2008, Microsoft offered to acquire Yahoo for $44.6 billion. Yahoo believed it was worth more and rejected the offer. This decision proved to be a significant error, as Yahoo's valuation continued to decline, culminating in its eventual sale to Verizon for just $4.8 billion in 2016. The pattern across the full arc of Yahoo's acquisition history is consistent and instructive. Yahoo applied a valuation framework that was technically sound and that was calibrated to a mental model of the internet that was becoming obsolete. Outsourcing search to Google in 2000 seemed rational. Focus on what Yahoo did well and use the best infrastructure available. Rejecting the Google acquisition in 2002 seemed rational. $3 billion was a high price for a company whose core product Yahoo could replicate. Rejecting Microsoft in 2008 seemed rational. The board genuinely believed Yahoo was worth more than $44.6 billion based on its assets and projected earnings. The problem was that each decision was made from within a mental model of the internet that was becoming obsolete with each passing year. Yahoo kept valuing itself as the portal company it had been in 1999, rather than as the search-dependent advertising business it had actually become. This is the specific mechanism behind the offer they turned down. Not a single vision failure, but a consistent application of a mental model that was losing its descriptive accuracy while appearing from inside it to be entirely sound. Each individual decision, 1998, 2002, 2006, 2008, was defensible within the mental model. The aggregate of those decisions was catastrophic, because the mental model was wrong about which dimension of the internet market was central. If the specific mechanism, how a coherent mental model of a market can produce defensible individual decisions, whose aggregate is catastrophic, is what makes this channel worth your time, the like is the direct signal. The engineers and product managers who worked at Yahoo during the years when these decisions were being made were not working for a company that was obviously failing. Yahoo in 2002 was a market leader. Its products were used by hundreds of millions of people. Its revenue was real. Its brand was trusted. They were working for a company whose leadership was applying a mental model to acquisition decisions that was calibrated to the internet of 1999 rather than the internet of 2004 or 2008. The model's obsolescence was not visible from inside it. It never is, until the decisions it produces have accumulated into an outcome that the model cannot explain. Verizon then sold its media assets, including Yahoo and AOL, to Apollo Global Management for $5 billion in 2021. Yet rather than close the chapter forever in Yahoo's book, the new company paid homage to its historical name. The people who built Yahoo's products, the engineers who built Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Sports, Yahoo News, built things that remain used by hundreds of millions of people. Those products were not failed by the quality of the work, they were failed by a series of strategic decisions, made above the people doing the work, that were individually defensible and collectively catastrophic. The practical lesson from the Yahoo-Google case is about the relationship between a mental model and a valuation framework. Any valuation framework, any set of metrics used to evaluate whether an acquisition price is appropriate, is built on a mental model of what the target company is and what market it is competing in. If the mental model is correct, the valuation framework produces an accurate assessment. If the mental model is wrong about which dimension of the market will be central, the valuation framework produces an assessment that is technically competent and strategically catastrophic. Yahoo's mental model was, search is a feature, portals are the primary value creation model of the internet. Google's mental model was, search is the infrastructure of internet commerce, and the company that owns search owns the commercial infrastructure. The two mental models produced two different valuations of Google in 2002. Google was right about which one was correct. Yahoo's was the more defensible of the two, given what was knowable in 2002. The practical thing. When evaluating any acquisition, partnership, or strategic investment, the first question is not, what is this company worth? It is, what do we believe this company is? And then, is the mental model behind that belief the same mental model the market will use in 5 years? If it's not, the valuation that follows from the current mental model will be wrong in the direction of the change, regardless of how technically sound the valuation process is. The next episode looks at a case where the delay of a decision, not by years but by months, determined an outcome that no analysis had predicted. This content was developed with the support of artificial intelligence tools and underwent human review, editorial curation, and approval before publication. The analysis presented here is strictly educational and philosophical in nature, grounded in behavioral psychology and classical stoicism.